Scott Brooks of the Waxahachie Sun. Welcome to Sunspot this week. As we started last week with the Mayor of Waxahachie, we again have Mayor David Hill with us. David, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Again, I just want to let you all know that this is a weekly show. The show is intended to be one that you can really get straight from the horse's mouth, as I've said before. The information relative to pertinent, important things about Waxahachie, and have to rely less as a result on all kinds of Facebook, Nextdoor, whatever else, you know, the water cooler discussions. This is really intended to be informative and to be something you find useful for your life in Waxahachie. Election day is almost here, 3 more days. There's a lot going on. As with any election cycle, there are countless things said by candidates, by candidate supporters, by any number of people. Things are said that obviously are intended to bring light, positive light on the candidate or the supporters of the candidate that's saying them. We're no different. And in this case, there are a lot of things said. Some aren't true. Most aren't. Some are. Some need clarifying. Some are misrepresented or are confusing in the way that they're said. So today, the mayor and I are going to have kind of a Mythbusters sunspot and hopefully shed some light on some important topics for you. So basically, there are 10 statements here that have been made by various candidates. I'm not going to mention who the candidates are. That's not really that important right now. It's that the statements that are being made need clarifications. I'm going to just make the statement, let the mayor weigh in, and you will hear directly from, in this case, the mayor who knows, but the staff, city staff know it as well, the truth and facts. So that's what this is about. So with that, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I should have had a little thing to spin. Gift to the old hospital from Baylor, Scott & White a couple of years ago, I think it was, or maybe within the past year, 18 months.
Yeah, 18 months or so.
The new hospital, Baylor, Scott & White, the company, gave the old hospital the gift, which it is a gift, of the old hospital to the city of Waxahachie. Some, not that many, but some have been very vocal about it being a boondoggle, which simply means a worthless or costly, whatever.
Not a good deal.
Not a good deal. So with that, I'd like for you to just share with our viewers the gift, the nature of the gift of the hospital from Baylor, Scott & White.
Well, I think that project has been going for years. It just didn't just happen last year when they walked over and said, hey, we have a hospital we'd like to donate to the city.
Right.
We had already worked through with Navarro Junior College and Baylor and the city. We're trying to develop a new nursing school several years ago. And so that was an integral part of that. We were going to try to repurpose that building for a nursing school.
Right.
So that's when the conversation started about Baylor being able to participate by donating that. It had value at that time. So years go on, and we're not successful at the legislature getting our laws passed to enable us to do that. So the new hospital is built. Everybody moves. This one lays dormant, and it was offered to the Veterans Administration. They didn't want it at the time, and still don't. Right. But we always did. We saw the value in the land and the location to Getzendenner. Right. So last year we made another phone call to Baylor and talked to them, and they said they were almost through with their financials attached to that building, and that they would make that donation. Right. So Will Turner came to council and gave the facility to the city. And our agreement was with Baylor that we would develop that in 3 years, or make a pretty good effort and at least have something going forward. So in that period of time, we've worked on meeting with developers and doing asbestos surveys and getting different pricing. So the total parcel is almost 9 acres. Obviously, the old hospital is on 3 acres. That would be torn down. There's a couple little office buildings that came along with the package, and those would be torn down, and that would be a mixed development sitting on that parcel of land.
Right. So at the end of the day, do you expect or believe that this will be an expense in the total, an expense to the city of Waxahachie?
Well, anybody knows about nonprofits knows we've never gotten a penny of tax since those hospitals. That's Tenery Hospital, so
Right.
go back a few years. Never received any tax on that, any of that stuff over there with Baylor. So right now we did request for pricing on demolition. We've done the abatement analysis. We have a pretty good fixed price of what it would cost to demo it. So currently the present land is worth X amount of dollars, around $2.5 million,
Right.
just on land value with no buildings on it. If the city chose to spend $1 million, $1.2 million to demo the existing building and have a blank canvas there for development, we could do that.
Right.
We've talked to developers, though, that have come in. Some have proposed to do the demo. Some wanted to repurpose the building. We met with people just a couple of weeks ago that are large developers and
Right.
want to do mixed use with restaurants and walking streets and all kinds of stuff overlooking the park.
Sure.
To us, it was, if I offered the deal to anybody, I really do believe that if I told you I have a $3 million piece of property, I'm going to give it to you, or I'll sell it to you for $1 million, and you were in sound mind,
Yeah.
I think you would say, it's not a bad deal.
I'm sure I would.
So I don't think it's a boondoggle. Never thought it was boondoggle. We have people that say that. But I'd even ask some of those people to come over and visit.
Right.
I met at the hospital one day, and I put the offer out, and I said, anybody would like to see what this is about, I'll walk the whole building with you, show you what we've got, show you the size of the lots, how much the value is, and what our plans are for it. Most of my larger detractors didn't show.
Right.
Some people did, and they understood what we were doing, and we're okay when we left. We stayed over there 2.5 hours.
Yeah. I mean,
Just talking to people.
I've had the pleasure of taking that tour, if you will, and I just for viewers who hear boondoggle, the gift is a boondoggle, you have to stop and realize why that's being said by somebody that's running for city council. It's not true. The gift is truly a gift, and imagine Getzendanner just being added to with, as you say, a mixed-use development. The word cool comes to mind, although I'm too old to be using that word.
Yeah,
But
cool, yeah, we don't use that anymore.
Yeah.
But everybody has the same kind of vision over there. I mean, that's always been a spot that we thought would be a destination place.
Right.
It's entrance into our city off Brookside, and 287 comes down through there. So we've always wanted to redo that entire part of town.
Right.
This is a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to do that. But the mixed use that people are presenting to us it's not for people my age. Okay, it's for the future of our kids and our kids' kids. They want to do incubators and things like that for small tech businesses and medical businesses that want to come in and rent a place as big as this office right here.
Right.
200 square feet, whatever, and be able to come in and do what they do and still look out across the park and see a trailhead that goes to Midlothian,
Right.
or to the other end of the town. And that seems to be the direction we're going in.
Yep. Good.
So I think it's an exciting time for that part of the town, and we have a hospital that has been gracious enough to share that vision, and they're excited about the potential
Right.
development over there. So
Okay. Very good.
you can make your own mind up if that's a boondoggle.
Yeah. Exactly.
So.
All right. Next, a claim has been made, or a statement's been made, that current city council and the city is not transparent. And I thought I'd let you just weigh in on the level of transparency with respect to the city of Waxahachie.
Um, I hear that all the time, and I'm not sure exactly what that always means every time I hear it. I don't know how more transparent. I don't know if they're just talking about the city council, me personally not being transparent, but I'm an open book, and I think everybody else is on council. I know Miss Olson has a newsletter that she sends out. Most of us don't sit down and do that and do blogs. We're doing other things as well. So, but I'm downtown every single day, out and about, talking to people. I'll be out at Saddlebrook next week in a homeowners association meeting where they've got some issues out there. So I said, fix the coffee and I'll show up.
Right.
So I think that just seems to be a chant that you hear, and not transparent, because everything we have in the city, I mean, you can, when you make it all available, then everybody says, well, it's too cumbersome. Well, it's because there's a lot, okay?
Right.
So when you're going through our links on a city website trying to find stuff, it's a lot because it's a lot. And when you're trying to find budget, you can see the check register where they've written checks. I mean, that's all being digitized and put online, and it's stuff that we didn't have in the past.
Right.
I think the county, you used to have to go to the county to look up a plat and go through these big books,
Right.
3-foot
Right,
pages.
yeah.
All those are being scanned and digitized. So, but that takes time to do all that stuff.
Right.
And I mean, if you think, I had a compact 286 and 20 in 2000, right? 1999.
Yeah.
Just dial-up internet, and so to think of how far technology has come in 21 years, and to remember where Waxahachie was, and integrating all that with it, and bringing everything up to speed, taking plans that have been in a basement and trying to have those scanned and put online. All that stuff has happened.
Right.
We're doing GIS maps of every single thing we have in the city. I mean, it's just amazing what is taking place. GoPros doing robotics and grading our streets, or X-raying sewer lines with all this new technology that we've been able to afford over the last 10 years.
Right.
And getting all that onto a website for you to go through. Does it take a few minutes, an extra click to get to it? Yes, it does.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm looking for stuff on there, and I know where it is.
Right.
But it still takes 3 or 4 clicks to finally get down to where I'm looking at what I want to be looking at. So is the city transparent? I think it's more than transparent. You can come in City Hall, it's open all during business hours. We don't close the doors, lock anybody out. All of our meetings are open, public.
Right.
Our budget meetings that we talk about every year, this is my 8th budget to go through. In 8 years, it's open to the public. They can come and sit in the budget meetings while we're talking about what we're going to be spending money on each year, our tax rates, our appraisals, everything we talk about. And you can sit and listen to what we talk about for 6 or 8 hours,
Right.
2 days in a row.
Right.
And to the best of my recollection, since I've been on city council, there may have been one person that has come and sat in that room for an hour,
Right.
period.
Yeah.
Okay? Not 100 people,
Right.
but one.
Yeah. So the issue with transparency.
So transparency,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, you can cross that off your list if you don't think we are. I'm not sure how much more you'd want to know.
Yeah, I've always found that claim to be interesting. If I'm looking at a window here, if I can see that it's transparent, but if I'm not looking at the window, never look at the window, then I can say that it's not transparent. Well, what's not transparent is my efforts. I mean, my efforts to see something have to be made before I can see it. And so it's a little bit troubling that people will make the claim about the city that it's not transparent when they make no effort to dig in or see the information. If somebody out there hears this and wants information and is not being given the information, you can call the mayor or you can call the newspaper. I'm sure we can find a way for you to get the information, but I just wanted you to be able to share the transparency.
Well, you can Google anything, right?
Right?
And most people living today will Google anything.
Yeah.
But then they'll make the accusation that the city's not transparent. Well, all I do is I hit Siri, and I said, excuse me, but can you show me the 2021 budget for the city of Waxahachie? It pulls it up, and there's 18 pages
Right.
of introduction.
Right.
So it's not that it's not there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It seems unfounded to me.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
All right. Another statement made by a new council candidate running this time is that the sewer plant is currently at 90% capacity. Now, for somebody that wouldn't know a sewer plant from a rose plant or whatever, 90% of a sewer plant makes me start to say, "Wait, that doesn't sound too
got
good."
a problem, right?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
tell us the truth.
Well, the truth is we're not, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's another long story. I think Jefferson Street was our first little sewage treatment plant. Then we moved around where Tejas is now, on Cliff Street there. That was our second treatment plant. Now we're out on Howard with our third. In 2006, we were at 5.5 million capacity, and I think they upgraded it to 8 million. So 8 million gallons a day is what this current treatment plant is licensed under, which means we've never been at 90%. I'll just say that. I asked for the chart the other day. I said, just show me what we've done over the last 5 years. So we had a couple of years where we had a lot of rain. We had inflow and infiltration into the system, which raised the usage up to 62% maybe. Currently, today, we're at about 48% is what we're running. But it's a long story. All of our sewage lines run down parallel with a creek. So if you have Mustang Creek, Cold Creek, Spring, whatever creek it is, where we have sewer lines, all of that stuff is susceptible to infiltration and water coming in the joints, roots growing in, breaking the pipe. So it's all antiquated old pipelines. So if we have a high tide, which is over the bank, then a lot of water gets into the sewage treatment plant. So that causes the spikes. That causes our SSOs, our sewage overflows that we have sometimes. But over the years, we've gone through, repaired lines, replaced a bunch of plumbing sewer lines, changed lift stations, added capacity. So you can see the curve go up in the rainy weathers,
Right.
but now you see the curve coming back down, and we have the thing running now. 2 or 3 years ago, we had 60 or 70 overflows. I mean, the manhole popping off and raw sewage. So had some issues, but it was because of collapsed pipes. So now we can actually go in and run camera through our lines. We can x-ray and tell how much life is left in the line, where we need to replace, and what needs to be repaired. And we're doing that, smoking all of our sewage network and finding those leaks and making repairs to it. So not only have we spent millions of dollars, we're spending $14 million out there this year at the sewage treatment plant, just optimizing currently what we have. It adds no capacity to the system, but it makes it run efficiently. So we're running at 48% today with our sewage treatment plant. There are the 90% deal. TCEQ has a 75-90 plan, which is once you hit 75% capacity of your sewage treatment plant for, I think, in 90 days or something like that, continuous, 75%, then you have to start engineering for a new plant. When you hit 90, you should be building a new treatment plant someplace. So we've already got plans drawn, and for I think it's a 4 million gallon a day expansion, which would make that treatment plant out there 12 million, almost 13 million really, but we say 12. But 12 million capacity, which will cost us a few dollars to get it done. But we're not. We're half at capacity now.
You don't want to be chintzy on sewer.
People like that.
Things. I hear you.
I joke a lot about we could send them over to Buc-ee's and Ennis, but that only goes so far.
Next up, heard this at the public forum not long ago and found it interesting, but the statement was people don't know who current council members are.
Okay. And I don't know why. They're on the city website. It says City Council. Right at the top, click on City Council, pulls up everybody's pictures.
Right.
Matter of fact, it shows you our email addresses and contact information.
Right.
With as many elections as we have, you would think people would know who Mary Lou Shipley is, Chuck Beatty, Kevin Strength, whoever was on City Council at the time. We've always, and the larger you get with a population, you're probably going to have stuff like that, where they're not as
Sure. Yeah.
a smaller community. We always knew who was there. I don't know how you remedy that. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We don't do TikTok, but we do Snapchat. I mean, we're out and about enough that if you don't know who we are,
there's a point at which, bluntly, that's on. If somebody says I don't know who city council people are, that's on me to find out who they are.
Well, they teach it in the schools now.
Well,
they've got my picture.
Yeah.
And I have little children walk up to me.
Kids by the day,
and they walk up and they say, "You're the mayor. You're the mayor." I said, "No, okay."
Yeah, well, that means.
So our teachers in our school, but it's kind of neat.
Yeah,
it's homey. That's who we are.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, just out of curiosity, yesterday in preparation for this, I went on about 5 city that I just picked randomly websites in the country, places I've lived: Buffalo, Montgomery. Albany, Georgia, of all god-awful places, and others, just to see if they presented city council and mayor and city staff any differently. And while there were slight differences in the presentation, all of those sites have pictures. Maybe some have a bio, but all the contact information. So, and I did all that in maybe 15 minutes of looking at 5 different cities. So to look at one of them may have taken me 1 minute to say, who's the mayor currently of Chattanooga? It takes 2 seconds. So when that's what we might call a red herring when it comes to politics, to say that people don't know who the elected officials are. It's very simple to find out. And I want our users or our listeners, viewers, to realize, just go to Waxahachie.com. And right there you
official
can find
city
what you
website,
want.
and we're all there. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of us don't like our pictures, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right. Another statement: City council can impact property taxes.
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Yeah. We can't deny that. And it's a long another one of those stories. It takes a while to explain it all. The way that we impact it, we can either raise our ad valorem tax rate, which is right now at 66 cents on 100. We can raise that or lower it, and in order to get if we didn't want any growth in our tax base, there's no new revenue tax rate. I think it's 63 cents. So, for instance, this year, if we, rather than going at 66 cents, if we wanted to go to 63, it means we would raise no more taxes than we did last year to operate the city. It didn't seem financially prudent to do that, because there's additional cost every year to operate in the city. So at one point, if you just continued to keep that rate, the city would overgrow the finances, and you wouldn't be able to do anything, and you'd be going backwards. So if you look at us compared to our sister cities, of the ones that we're compared to in Ellis County, we're the lowest at 66. Midlothian 68, and then it goes up. Out of all the larger cities in Ellis County that we're always compared to, we're in the lower 40% as far as the tax rate goes. So when the appraisals come out, and I don't blame this on the appraisal district, I'm just telling you that when the appraisals come out, we have that's where we start deciding, do we reduce our portion to offset that increase? And that's the dilemma that you find yourself in come budget time. So we're still looking at, we did $68 million in street repairs and street projects in the last 10 years. We've got that much more to go. Just based off of what we're looking at right now, we have a sewage treatment plant, which is a run at 48, but as growth comes, it will increase, and that will be a necessary expense going forward, several $1 million for something like that. So the infrastructure and the continuing maintenance and upkeep services that we provide all have to be adjusted, and they all continue to increase. What you try to do is find a happy medium where the people aren't feeling like they're being overtaxed every single time, that we're trying to tax them out of their homes, because that's not our intent. Our intent is to look at what we know we have to fix and try not to add any frills into it, but just basic services for the City of Waxahachie, maintenance and operations, and not establish a large amount of debt that the city will never be able to pay back. And everybody on City Council lives here, and we all pay taxes. And we all have appraisal rates that go up, and we all look at the same thing that everybody else is looking at, but we also look at everything the city has that has to give life to the community that has to be done. So if we could drop it, when we drop a penny, that's $300,000. If we go from 66 to 65, that takes $300,000 out of your ad valorem tax. So if you talk 3 pennies is almost $1 million that you lose. So it costs, and if you start knocking those pennies off, we did 2 cents this year, and but we had some new growth, which helped. We got I think $1.2 million in added in new growth. So only $800,000 of total tax increase was based off of ad valorem taxes of the old. So we look at all that during our budget cycle, what we can do, what we think we need to do based off of what we know is coming over the next 10 years. So we are projecting. I hear it all the time. I heard a guy the other night at one of his speeches saying that the council now is just only looking out a couple of years. We're looking 30, 40, 50 years out just on electrical services, ALP, not ALP, but gas service, Atmos, and people like that, Encore, and how they're going to service the community, 5G, broadband, anything you can think of. It's all in the cycle. It's being reviewed, and people are looking far out. Far out, and that's another one of those cool words.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think, again, our listeners here need to understand the role of City Council, and that the City of Waxahachie, as much growth is happening here and as things change so rapidly, is looking well into the future. It has to be, or we're in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's see. Oh, here's my favorite claim. Things in the city, assuming City Council has any impact on them, are leading to divorce and alcoholism. Whoa. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this, Mayor, unless you want to, but it's a claim that's been made more than once, and for me, not that anybody cares, but it's a bit offensive, but I thought I'd let you weigh in on it.
Well, that's kind of weighty discussion to have. I think that all last year caused a tremendous amount of stress on a lot of people. From my position, I sat and watched our community get infected. I sat and watched several people die. I attended several funerals of people that I knew that died from the pandemic. I know there was stress in many households because of many reasons, loss of work and such that. Did I have anything to do with it? I'm thinking I really didn't. I didn't start the pandemic. We tried to control and mitigate and even set up a hub to vaccinate people. So it breaks your heart that incidents like that happen, but it is part that's the consequence that happen when you have those issues like that. So,
I agree with you.
I wish I could take the blame for it all, but it's I don't think any one person would, nor should.
No, should. So. You're right. No, shouldn't. Okay. All right. Tax rate can be lowered without any cuts being made to the budget.
False.
False why?
False why? Well, if it takes money out of the general fund, you don't have money to spend on stuff. So, and that stuff is whether it's parks, cemetery, anything that we do, streets. We do a lot of stuff out of the general fund that are small miscellaneous things, like putting sidewalks down Gibson.
Right.
That's a $300,000 or $400,000 deal. You have some reserves, so you spend that money for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have more. We have a lot more needs, and if you could see the list that we get just from community.
Yeah.
Why don't you? Why don't you? Why don't you? Why don't you? We appreciate you doing it over there, but why didn't you do it over here?
Right.
We get it's a continuous flood of that stuff. So every penny that we get, we really don't just sit on it for sitting on its sake.
Mm-hmm.
It's either encumbered going someplace out 5 years. We know what we're going to be doing. We've got a project that's targeted for that, so money may be set aside. But it's basically we spend every penny that the city gets. Mm-hmm. Is spent to promote and provide services to the city.
Right.
So there's really no excess.
Yeah, and again, the council candidate that makes that claim quite often will say that it can be lowered because efficiencies can be found in running the city that mean you don't have to do anything with the budget. That's a theoretical argument.
Sure.
As far as I'm concerned. In reality, it's for me, having dealt with cities all over the country, it's no more true than anywhere else. It's false. And for our listeners, that council candidate who says that will not come in and talk and will not go on record to explain what he means by finding all these efficiencies and being a city council person that can help discover all these savings and that sort of thing. It's easy to tout that, but there's a reason why a candidate or a person who says that stuff but won't come in to share more or to be asked questions about it, there's a reason why they don't do that, and it's because I don't believe they understand what really they're saying. So it's fair for everyone to believe that if you're going to reduce money that a city has, then something in the budget is going to be impacted somewhere along the line.
Yeah, no, it has to.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the year, there's no money sitting in a bucket someplace.
Okay.
Everything has been appropriated and spent. We had an instance where we were buying a new truck out of the sewage treatment plant to haul stuff away to landfill. Mm-hmm. It's an old truck, completely worn out, not really safe to drive, but we were still using it because we didn't have the funds to buy a new one. Mm-hmm. So we decided to go ahead and put it in the budget, $120,000 for a Mack truck and an 18-wheeler dump bed trailer.
Right.
Seems sensible to us to replace a 20-year-old vehicle that didn't have any life left in it. But we got people, that said that we found some on eBay that you could buy cheaper than that. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, the city doesn't buy stuff on eBay.
No.
We're bid board, and we're government regulated. We have laws, and there's liabilities, and it'd be nice if we could run down the used car lot and pick up a truck.
Sure.
With no warranty on it and drive it off, and everybody, if it fell apart, who cares, right? But it's not. The city doesn't operate that way.
Exactly.
And it can't. Right. Because we have 40,000 people that are depending on that truck to get to where it's going and not kill somebody on the way.
For sure. And I would just say to that council person, Paul Christensen, this will air on this Friday, which is the day before Election Day, but I'll stop what I'm doing on Friday afternoon and give you the opportunity to come in and share with listeners what you mean, just like all the other candidates have. So it's unfair to make a statement like that without affording yourself or exposing yourself to being questioned, and I just want people to understand that. So, all right, a moratorium on growth would be smart and would help the city of Waxahachie. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I don't think it'd be smart.
Yeah.
It takes 5 miles to turn Queen Mary around. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how many times do you want to stop and turn around? With the energy that the city has right now, The only thing I hear, well, I hear complaints about several things, but mostly it's about traffic. Right. But those are things that you work on. You don't stop. And quite frankly, in a lot of cases, if the utilities are available and the land is owned, you're going to have a hard time taking property rights away from people because you feel like the traffic's too heavy. So it's not as easy. It sounds like a neat deal. Yeah, just tap the brake and slow things down. And there's ways to do that. I heard a statement the other day that stuck in my little head, and so they said the city shouldn't be running streets out to nowhere, or running utilities to nowhere, and then having those costs, and there's no development. Yeah. We don't have any streets that go nowhere.
Right.
They all go someplace, and they all tie into other streets. So we don't run utilities out into the middle of a pasture someplace and hope that somebody will come start development. We wait till the development comes out and looks at the piece of property and says, here we are. So our impact fee is going to be part of that issue. We'll be able to get new growth, new expansion, or whatever out into a different basin that we want to open up for development. So to think that we're hunting for somebody to come and develop is a myth. And a misnomer. So we kind of wait for people to get here.
Sure.
And even we were talking about a road yesterday, Bucky's, who was supposed to come here, and we were thinking Butcher Road would come over. Butcher Road. Butcher would come over. Bucky's was going to add about 600 feet of corridor in front of their facility, which would get us 2/3 of the way over to Ovilla. So we didn't go out and run the 600 feet to get Bucky's to come here. Right. Bucky said, when we come, that's part of the development agreement that we made with Bucky's. Right. Now, Bucky's since has decided they may not come. It's not. We haven't gotten a letter yet, but they're going on to other places. Yeah. Most of it because I-35 was not completed in a timely manner, and the feeder streets are not even scheduled yet to get done. So it wasn't the city's issue; it was a TxDOT issue and a Bucky's decision. But that's how we do it. Even our Lofton water line that we're running across right now, we know where it's eventually supposed to end up, but we're not running it all the way to that destination. We just run it across because there's some development over there that is already on the drawing boards right now being considered. And a lot of that stuff is paid for by impact fees. Right. So, we don't think we really need to stop all growth, but we're not inviting it by running utilities at our expense out to any place. Yeah,
hoping
just
will come. Yeah.
Hoping that somebody will see that and come down here and build a building.
Yeah, I think, and it maybe doesn't go without saying, but certainly the minute Waxahachie becomes a place where developers say, or all kinds of developers say, they're not growing, they don't want to grow, Waxahachie begins, in my view, dying. And it's you can't say this, but I can. It's a ludicrous statement, in my view, because of if not other things, just that alone, that the label we would get would be deeply harmful over decades to come, in my view.
Yeah, and even right now, we talk about traffic and how we resolve all that stuff. The people that come here that are in those cars spend their money in your restaurants, small businesses, all of our stuff. So out of the $18 billion or so that we collect every year, $950 million worth of retail sales in this city, an awful lot of that comes from outside of 75165. Sure. Right. So it depends on what you want. Yeah. The people that love a small town that don't want but 2 cars on the road will always feel that way, and I understand. Yeah, I do too. But what you try to do is you try to throttle and govern the expansion by good planning. Right. Maintain your downtown, a historic part of town, which is really the lifeblood of the city as far as tourism goes, and that's home. Yeah. So we want to maintain that, knowing that it's coming because North Central Texas is still growing by thousands of people a day. Next 15, 20 years, you can bet some of them are going to be here.
There's no doubt.
So how do we plan for that is really the question, not how do we stop it.
Right. Okay.
So,
All right. One last statement, and then we'll close up. I've heard this more than once, but this is a general statement. You can be specific if you'd like, but parks in the city haven't been improved.
well, yeah, that hurts your feelings, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, we spent, I think 5 years ago, we went to WCDC, our Waxahachie Community Development Corporation, and told them that our parks haven't been touched, some since 1947. I mean, we still had stainless slides and merry-go-rounds, which had been outlawed, by people all over the United States, quite frankly. So we had that, and then we had parks with no playground equipment. We had the land and the green space, but nothing there for the kids to play on. So we asked WCDC for some money. They agreed. We had a parks plan put together, and we started. The first year we set $1.5 million, $2 million worth of playground equipment on our city parks. And we're continuing. Right now we're working on a master plan for Boat Dock Park, Spring Park, and Jetty Park out at the lake. We've already spent money out there trying to make it work, and finally decided to stop doing that and just do a master plan, and let's do it in phases if necessary. If not, we'll do it all at once.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just finished a Little Creek Trail from Farley over to Chapman Park. They're working on a crosswalk right now on Brown Street. TxDOT finally gave us permission to do something. So that should be finished in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So when they say that nothing's been done or that they don't like it, ask the mothers that are over there playing. And we just spent the bathroom at Chapman Park.
Right.
We just set that last week. That's $200,000.
Sure.
I mean, for a bathroom.
Right.
Lions Park, we just put a new bathroom out there. Never had one. 50 acres of park area with no bathroom. We had porta potties.
Yeah.
And all these kids playing soccer and stuff.
Yeah.
And and a new bathroom out at Boat Dock Park 2 years ago. So to say that we're not, we have a parks committee, that's what they do. They sit and they analyze, they look at it, we survey, develop plans, and then we figure out where the funding stream is going to come from, whether it's going to be from general fund or if we're going to ask WCDC for help or whatever we're going to do. But it's busy.
Yeah.
It's busier than just playground equipment.
Sure.
So it's the maintenance of all that stuff that comes along.
Yeah,
with it.
and go visit the parks. You'll
Yeah.
see. All right. That's it for the statements. Is there anything else you want to add before we close?
No, but that's a good list of questions to answer.
Okay.
And everybody, you have to say that everybody's not going to agree with me, but I'm there almost every day, paying attention to what's going on.
Right.
And when I hear statements that are just factually incorrect, they need to be addressed.
Right.
Most of personal things. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion, but they don't have their own facts. So.
Yeah, much like a pebble's thrown into the ocean, there's 1 or 2 or 5 people trying to change society's habit of listening to whatever, wherever, about whatever, and believing it. Is a hard thing to change, but we find ourselves today, and it certainly applies to Waxahachie, with all kinds of statements being said on all kinds of platforms by all kinds of people, and being believed, and that's a problem because it creates such a false. It's false about so much, and
Right.
our effort here is to simply have the mayor come in and others that will come in from time to time at the city to say this is the truth, and we won't. The mayor isn't running for office, and if he were, then we wouldn't be doing this right now because we have to be equal in the time that we give candidates. But someone needs to speak the truth, and people need to listen to it. And as best I can tell, as the publisher of the newspaper, there isn't anything being said by the mayor or those at the city that we haven't validated or verified. So it's not like this is a forum for the mayor to say whatever he wants to. We, as a watchdog, have said that's true. We've looked at this stuff. There are some challenges in the city, and we'll be talking about those from time to time, and we may disagree, but the truth is that if there is an issue, you can bet that whether it be Joanne Livingston or Andy Bronco or any number of our other reporters are on the job, on the case. So the idea is just to provide a forum that allows for a truthful source of information. So
Right.
thank you for doing this.
Thank you, love.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't think there's anything on our list today that we talked about that's not verifiable.
Yeah.
So I've got the documents out in my truck if you want to sit down and out there.
Well, if I allow you the opportunity to provide answers or comments to these, and we've discovered that something isn't matching up, then we'll bring it up and talk about it here. But we have verified what has been said here about these statements, and we'll continue to verify that. That's our obligation and our duty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, and last week I made a statement about we had a different trash pickup company. It's
Yeah.
the same company, it's Waste Connection,
Mhm.
same people, just new trucks, new containers, new dumpsters, et cetera.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, Michael corrected me when I,
Yeah.
so,
Well, I think that's good.
and I may have, it may have sounded like we have a complete new businesses taken over.
Yeah.
So it's same name, so
Just a different approach.
my bad.
That's all right. Okay, so with that, folks, this is our weekly time every Friday at noon, and we hope that you enjoy and appreciate this. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you want me to relay something to the mayor or us to talk about it, please write me at scott@waxahachiesun.com. scott@waxahachiesun.com. I will make certain that any question you ask of me to ask of the mayor will be asked, and we will talk about it right here in front of you. Okay? So thank you for joining us. This has been Sunspot. See you next week.